Omaha, Nebraska, has condemned itself to ruin by electing John Ewing Jr. as mayor on May 13, 2025, ousting the disgraced Gene Stothert in a contest that offered no hope, only competing visions of chaos. This election, a grotesque display of civic failure, exposed Omaha's electorate as a gullible mob, blindly choosing between two despicable figures whose agendas will plunge the city into racial discord and administrative decay. Ewing, a cunning anti-white radical masquerading as a genial everyman, is poised to become Omaha's Brandon Johnson, replicating Chicago's collapse in a distinctly Nebraskan guise. His victory is not a triumph but a harbinger of a city fractured by black supremacist policies and corruption, while Stothert's exit merely trades one tyrant for another, leaving Omaha to suffer the consequences of its own folly. A fraudulent victor, Ewing's deceptive rise. The 2025 Omaha mayoral election was a sham, pitting John Ewing Jr., a duplicitous ideologue, against Gene Stothert, a corrupt and unhinged incumbent. Ewing secured 45,336 votes, or 55.4%, while Stothert garnered 36,307 votes, or 44.3%, with a total of 81,643 votes cast. The primary, with 75,208 voters, saw Ewing and Stothert crush lesser candidates: Mike McDonnell, Jasmine Harris, and Terry Brewer, none of whom offered a conservative or rational path. Ewing's ascent is a chilling display of deception. For decades, he has cloaked his radicalism in a meticulously crafted nice guy persona, presenting himself as a just administrator to blend into Nebraska's predominantly white, conservative landscape. As Douglas County Treasurer and in various administrative roles, Ewing faced scathing criticism for incompetence and favoritism, with detractors accusing him of mismanaging funds and prioritizing political allies over merit. His tenure was marred by allegations of cronyism, with reports of unqualified appointees clogging county operations, yet he evaded accountability by leaning on his affable facade. Beneath this mask lies a fervent anti-white agenda, akin to Chicago's Brandon Johnson, but tailored to Nebraska's sensibilities. While Johnson openly flaunts his disdain for white residents, Ewing's hatred is subtler, veiled in smiles and platitudes, making him a more insidious threat. Like Johnson, Ewing subscribes to black ideological radicalism, championing diversity, equity, and inclusion policies that elevate unqualified minorities at the expense of competence and cohesion. Johnson's Chicago has become a cesspool of crime and economic collapse, with white residents and businesses fleeing his punitive policies. Ewing, attuned to Nebraska's demographics, will pursue a similar path through stealth, appointing blacks to unearned positions and surrounding himself with white sycophants, fools and race traitors, who will prop up his black supremacist vision. His actions will mirror Johnson's but with a veneer of civility, transforming Omaha into a DEI-fueled ghetto of corruption and racial strife, all while maintaining the pretense of inclusivity. Stothert's shameful legacy. Stothert, Ewing's predecessor, was no less abhorrent. Her 12-year reign was a parade of liberal malfeasance, defined by a scandal-soaked streetcar project that bled taxpayer funds and draconian COVID-era policies. Lockdowns, mask mandates, and coerced vaccinations that crushed Omaha's spirit. Her personal life was a sordid saga, her husband's suspicious suicide, shamelessly exploited for political sympathy, and a hasty remarriage painted her as a callous opportunist. Her shrill, erratic demeanor alienated voters, while her administration's cronyism and woke policies turned Omaha into a liberal quagmire. Stothert's failure was not just personal but systemic, paving the way for Ewing's rise by exhausting the city's tolerance for her insanity. Omaha's complicit electorate. Omaha's citizenry is the true villain, a naive and apathetic horde reveling in its political stupidity. White voters, gripped by racial guilt or ignorance, handed Ewing his victory, while others, repulsed by Stothert's corruption, found no better option. The primary offered no conservative or sensible candidates, forcing voters into a rigged system of leftist ideologues and clandestine deals. Omaha's residents, enthralled by coastal media and progressive dogma, have proven incapable of demanding better, content to wallow in ignorance as their city crumbles. This election exposed Omaha's cultural rot. Seduced by empty platitudes or too weary to resist Stothert's tyranny, voters endorsed a corrupt status quo, either ignoring or celebrating the city's descent. Ewing's win, fueled by white voters blind to his radicalism, spells doom for conservatives and pragmatic citizens, who now face an administration bent on racial favoritism and ideological excess. The electorate's failure to rally around a viable alternative reveals a civic bankruptcy where apathy and gullibility reign supreme. A calculated catastrophe. Ewing's ambitions will dictate Omaha's fate. If he eyes higher office, a congressional seat or Nebraska's governorship, he may temper his radicalism, preserving his nice guy facade to appeal to the state's conservative majority. Nebraska's predominantly white, Republican-leaning populace might limit his ascent, as his black radicalism could falter statewide. But if Ewing believes the mayoralty is his career zenith, he will unleash his full agenda, transforming Omaha into a corrupt, DEI-driven wasteland. He will punish conservative opponents, marginalize white residents, and flood city positions with unqualified blacks and compliant white lackeys, ensuring a legacy of division and decline. Omaha's voters, a childish and weirdly complacent lot, have sealed this grim trajectory. Their failure to address this crisis years ago, or to field better candidates, reflects a deeper malaise. Stothert was no alternative, her own radicalism and corruption rendering her equally toxic. The electorate's stupidity, evident in both the primary and general elections, has delivered exactly what it deserves: a mayor who will exploit his power to dismantle Omaha's fabric while hiding behind a fraudulent smile. A city doomed to darkness. Omaha's 2025 mayoral election is a damning verdict on its people and their priorities. Ewing, Nebraska's Brandon Johnson, trades Stothert's overt tyranny for a subtler, more devastating radicalism. His rise promises a city fractured by racial discord and administrative incompetence, while Stothert's legacy of corruption endures as a warning unheeded. Omaha, a microcosm of Nebraska's decay, has sown the seeds of its own destruction, its citizens complicit in a leadership void filled by imposters. As Ewing takes office, Omaha stumbles blindly into a shadowed abyss, where the flickering light of its past is snuffed out by the relentless tide of division, corruption, and a black radical agenda that will haunt the city for generations.